peasy. We put out a fucking image a couple weeks ago. I was like, what do you think the next song has? And the answer was tuba. We got them tubas, dude.
Them tubas.
Tubas, dude. They said it couldn't be done.
But you did it anyway. But we
did it anyway. We fucking did it anyway.
Do you find yourself putting a lot of, like random instruments like that, just for the fuck of it? You know what I mean?
I love to play around with stuff. It's probably more so an issue than it is half the time productive, to be honest with you. I'll send stuff back to them. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking noodling on this, dude. I'm getting some cool shit, and it's just like in Splinters, that hoedown part. Mm-hmm. That the whole hoedown part stemmed from me putting in the guitar parts wrong into Ableton, and so it was like it sounded like a little hoedown thing, and I was like, oh, that's actually really fucking cool sounding, and so I redid it to make it make it an actual part. So I sent it back to them. Fucking Cam about shit himself. He was, what the fuck?
Awesome.
Why is this so cool?
Hey, it's life's happy accidents sometimes, the ones that make the best magic. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Very true. I love noodling around. Probably one of my favorite things to do. I guess I can kind of just rant for a little bit.
Yeah,
the purpose of this stream, this video, is basically for me to go through the mix, to go through the process, so that way I can like send it to people. So you guys are here to help future Kyle, hopefully. So I can send it to people and they can be like, yo, you're fucking up here, or you're doing wrong here, or you should be doing this there, type of thing, so I can improve my mixes. In the description of it should be in the description of the live stream. But if not, it'll be in the video for sure. I have uploaded all of the stems, the track itself, and all of the raw multitracks. So I gave basically the mixed versions of each of these buses. I bounced down individually, and then I went in and took off all of the plugins and everything and gave people the raw sounds and the raw everything, like the DI guitars and stuff without the distortion and everything in there, how you would send it to like a mixer to get mixed. So if anyone wanted to fuck around with stuff or try to mix it themselves or wanted to do whatever, feel free to fuck around with that kind of stuff. I figured that would also be helpful if I was able to give the video and include all the stuff that person would need to better explain themselves to help us out. So that's basically why we're here. Also content, of course, #content. Always got to be doing stuff for fucking content, and we're lazy. So I figured this would be a good way to hit a couple of birds with a single stone.
No, absolutely. That's chat. If you guys got questions about anything to do with this, that's kind of what we're here to. Not me. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to pass along your questions so that way he can answer them. You know what I'm saying? He's the expert. So, Kyle will answer all of those questions. I'm not that dude. I've never been that guy. You know what I mean? So put your questions in the chat for sure if you have them.
Yeah, we can go over anything. Doesn't even have to be band related or whatever. Any kind of questions. We'll be free to go through stuff. I'm gonna try not to make this video long. I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible, which is still gonna be probably longer than it should be, but we'll fucking see, I guess. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see if we got any questions first, and then dig in. Do I still have the tracks on Samply? Yes. Why am I goated? I'm a fat goat, dude. Bald, fat goat. Tuba give unique bass tones? It does. I like cinematic things. I like classical things. DM remix is something if you guys are giving all the... Yeah, it's in a Google Drive folder. It should be in the description. I put it in there. If not, it'll be in the video description when this comes out. Or you could just message me on Discord or send a message or whatever, and I'll just send them to you. With Nate and Callie, do you ever have to have him send rework stems? Yeah, we have to do that with everybody.
Yeah, because you guys are all in separate places, right?
Yeah, we're all remote. We basically will... Our, like, streamline of how we create a song is... Cam works on baseline. Like, Cam comes up with an idea. Whether it be a section, whether it be, like, a very foundational point, whether it be a full song, whatever. And then he breaks that up into stems, which I guess I can clarify. So stems are processed bus groups. So here in the drum bus, you have every single drum is separated individually, right? And you process them separate. This whole thing goes into a group, into a bus. If I were to bounce down just the bus, if I were to export just the bus and nothing else, that would be a stem. Multitracks are if you were to take each individual one of these and strip them to where there's just the bass sound, no plugins, no nothing, and you sent all of these over individually, that would be multitracks. Just for terminology's sake. So with stems, the only time we ever really do stuff like that is if we're prepping or we're remixing or we're doing like specific things, but almost all the time it's multitracks. So like Rena will record her vocal takes at her place and then send me the raw individual audio files, and then we'll put them in here. And then Cam sends me, like if he writes something, he'll send me each individual instrument as an audio or as a MIDI, which MIDI is this is all the drums. This is the drum MIDI. So every one of these little boxes is a note, basically, and it corresponds with an instrument or a pitch. And then we put it all together, and then we bash it with a fucking pool noodle until it's cool.
Bash it with a pool noodle. Maybe you could put that, like, you know, in the next song. That'd be an interesting song, right?
Just fucking mic up a pool noodle.
Just smack it into some water. You know what I mean? Probably make an interesting noise. The breakdown part, like instead of the blad part. You know what I mean?
Oh, just a pool. What does a pool noodle even sound like if you mic'd it up? It's foamy, so I feel like it would just be like a styrofoam impact, which would be kind of cool, actually.
That might be good content to make. You know what I'm saying? you wanted ideas, right?
True. Fuck it. Just get a little mobile mic rig and start just micing up everything. So funny. Okay. We got any more questions? Anything else got going on here?
I think Steve in the chat asked something about like Cam's instrument playing. Does he play more than one instrument? Because he's saying 187 or something like that. So is he like multi-talented that way?
Yeah. He plays guitar, bass, drums, vocals, piano, saxophone. He plays a lot of shit.
A little bit.
He's a little goated god.
Do you think
he's also young as fuck too? But he's taken, ladies. He's taken. Don't even try.
Do you think he could play a pool noodle?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think
he's practically a pool noodle himself. So
we got to make this happen now. I'm speaking this
into
existence.
Pool noodle. That's so funny. How long does it take to put the song together? It really depends. We basically don't stop working on a track until we're like satisfied with it. I know a lot of like when you have the mentality of working on an album, you'll have your singles that you put a bunch of time and effort into, and then you also have like filler tracks where it's like you kind of throw it together, or you don't put a lot of polish on it. It's just like, okay, it's a song. Like we haven't done like it's okay, it's a song really yet. I guess Splinters kind of, but the goal for that was a bit different than some of these other songs. But it really depends. If we were all together, it wouldn't take as long as it does. But a couple of months probably per track. I would say 2-3 months.
2-3 months per track, you say?
Yeah, if you were to condense it down. Sometimes there's like we're working on multiple things at the same time. So we're like working on the EP. We're also working on tracks to release before the EP. So we have like a lot of parallels going on top of like trying to do videos, trying to get other content out, stuff like that. So that timeline can be kind of stretched. It's not like 2 months of continuously working on the same track, but it's like bigger chunks over the time of 2 or 3 months. If you were to condense it down, like if we worked 8 hours a day on a single track, it'd probably take 2 weeks, give or take.
Makes sense. You know, you guys are also going through the process of like only having to like capitalize on the time that you guys have together and those kinds of things too, with like working on different parts of the songs. Since you guys are all different in different locations too, so like you guys are battling different extras to that too. So makes sense.
I'm too loud. I can turn myself down. Is that better?
Yeah, Cam's over here talking about his guitar playing in the Twitch chat. He's saying that he's like the worst that ever existed, but what I think quite the opposite, friend. I think quite the opposite. We were just admiring you. We have something for you in mind for the next song too. Well, I think we should strap a pool noodle to the end of your guitar and make it work. You know what I mean?
True. Very true. Nice.
What would you say are the most frustrating parts of the mixing process?
The whole fucking goddamn thing. Jesus Christ. Mixing's a pain in the fuck, dude. Mixing's a pain in the goddamn fuck. It's fun though, but it's very frustrating. And I think it's more frustrating for me too, because like I still don't know that much. And so I have to like extensively research and focus on very minute things to get them to sound okay to me, when more experienced people can just like do it with 1 or 2 moves or very quickly. So like my master bus here is fucking crazy. Like you should never have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fucking plugins on my master bus. So I definitely need to work on bringing some of this down to the bus level and not so much relying on master to make it sound good.
Makes sense.
I guess I can start just going through stuff. Just let me know if people got questions.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye. Keep an eye on the chat if they have any.
So the way I have this routed is everything goes through a band bus except for drums and vocals. So samples, all the like percussive stuff, production, synth. Production is like bass drops, just impacts, risers. That kind of stuff. All that's production. Synth, all the choir and strings, the piano, clean guitar, production guitar, which production guitar is like pads, kind of. We reverb it out. All the guitar stuff, bass, and then the electronic drums also go to the band bus. So the only things that are not going to this is vocals and drums. And this is where I do all of most of my side chaining. Everything goes through a compressor. It hits about -4. I have Pro MB on this. It's doing some dynamic stuff for the sides. It made the guitar sound better to me. This is not a normal move I make. We can do an AB real quick. I'll show you. Off. On. It brings up the high end and a lot of the guitars and stuff. Brings it a little bit more to the front. I thought it sounded okay. Left it. I got my sidechain for the kick. So the kick is sidechaining every other element except for vocals. Using Soothe for this. Next is I do sidechain on the snare as well. So every time the snare hits, it'll duck everything. You can kind of tell on guitars, it gets quiet for a second every time the snare hits. I do this part. So that helps the snare kind of breathe a bit. I have it on a lower release too to let the room kind of shine. The room noise in a snare is really important. This is the wrong thing I'm looking at. Band bus, snare, and then the vocal sidechain. So this is taking the frequencies out that it's hearing from the vocal bus out of everything else, so it can sit better in the mix. This might not be a big difference. We can like turn it off. It clashes a little bit more. It's just clearer. Just sits on top better. I have 2 saturations at this level. I have mix head. Mix head is something I just started using. And then black box classic. Classic move. Go off and on these two. Gives a little bit more life to the guitars. Makes them a little bit more crunchier. Brings up the mid-range a bit. And then the black box. Kind of the same thing. Just a little bit on the higher end. That's the band bus. Most of my sidechaining is on the band bus for a lot of the bigger elements. I do have guitars sidechained to the kick using Pro C2, but it's very small, 1 dB. That's basically just to help the top end of the kick. So then everything, the band bus, the drum bus, and the vocal bus all go to the master. I can turn everything off and then turn everything back on again. There's going to be a big volume difference though. So maybe I don't do that. Maybe we just do this. That won't make sense. It's alright. I didn't prep for that. So we got Golfoss Master. This is like I don't even know what the fuck it does, to be honest. It's like an auto EQ. It will turn down really loud frequencies and it'll boost frequencies that aren't loud enough. So it kind of flattens it out a bit. Usually brings a lot of clarity to anything. If we on and off it, it might sound a bit different. Very subtle.
Did have a question about from the chat. Do you keep the kit mic'd up at all times? Does it make it easier when you're recording sections?
You keep your kit mic'd up at all times. Oh, like drum set?
Yeah, probably the drums.
Oh, this shit's all fake, dude. It's all fake drums.
Well, answers that question.
Yeah, they're all programmed. I'll go into drums after the master bus. So we got Golfos, and then we go into compression. This top one's supposed to really just hit the snare. So this will make the whole track duck like up to 3 dB whenever the snare hits. Kind of glues it all together a bit more. And then red, its main goal is to only really hit when the kick is going, but the snare is so goddamn loud, and I've fought with the snare so much on this mix that I just said fuck it, it's fine. I got it to sit okay, and I just left it. But basically, because I just left it, I had to add in another compressor after that to really hit like the kicks. After the first round of compression, we have Pod Farm. This is a trick that Justin showed me from As It Breaks. This is nuts. This is gonna, when I turn this off, it's gonna sound really fucking bad. So basically, what this plugin is, it's just a preamp. So it adds in like some saturation and some EQ curve, but I mixed into it. So once I put this on the track, I redid basically everything, so it sounds better going through this. But I really like how it sounds. I really like the EQ curve on it. I can A/B it for you. There's like a lot of weird frequencies on the mid-range when it's off. But once Justin showed me this, I threw it on, and then I redid everything mixed into it to make it sound better. I just think it sounds really good. I could probably not do with a lot of this stuff. Also, a lot of these things, like we started off bare bones with nothing, and then as I noodled around more, as I was working on stuff to get things to sit more where I wanted it to sound, or to sit and or sound, I'd play with plugins, I'd play with EQ, I'd mix around. So the master on the next track might be completely different. It might be similar. We don't know. It just kind of depends on what the sound we're going for and like how we want things to sit and what sounds we use. Depends on kind of what I was grabbing, what I wanted to. After that, we have tape saturation. We got some Saturn. This is the I got this from the Bill Murray Nail the Mix. This is just the -25 +25 warm tape. And then tape machine. This Saturn stays on my master. I think the virtual tape we added in later. I was having issues with the kick clashing with some of the higher end stuff. That's why I did the sidechain on the guitar. But then when I add it, I also have virtual mix on the kick as well, which is way too much saturation overall. But it sounded okay at the end, so I was like, fuck it. Like, it'll be alright, I guess. After saturation, I went into a EQ, match EQ. So this is the reference tracks I used for this are the other two tracks that we have. That was mixed by Lance, Prince, and Buster. I just captured both of those and then match EQ'd 35%, no smoothing. I don't know why it's no smoothing. Should have been some smoothing. But it's on no smoothing, I guess. And then I had it high shelf, but I turned it off. That's not on. At 35%. So this does, it takes the EQ curve of the tracks that are referencing it. It will capture the track as it is, and then it applies a corrective EQ to better, like, tone-wise, like overall sound and like levels and stuff, pushed more towards what those sounded like. And that's when we went into the last compressor. And then from there, we go into our clip stage. So I have four clippers. Each of these are a hard clip. So, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. So this just clips the top of the audio signal. And basically anything in the red, it will squash down to where it's not in the red. And I do this in stages. So every time it goes through, I clip a little bit more. And then I clip a little bit more. This is directly stolen from Lance. Lance does this. And then I went into guard particle, no limiter, 50%, no EQ. This really did a lot for the sides, I think. For the mid-band. Off. On. I think it makes a pleasant change in the mid-range for me. And then we go into Pro Q2 or Pro L2. I could probably slam this more, but it was okay. I think it hits like 3.5, minus 3.5 at the highest. We can probably go higher. That's basically the end of the chain. After that is my loudness meter. So we're at -4, -5. And then I use VSX headphones. So this allows me to change the speaker modeling. So I can like check how it sounds on different things. If you've never fucked around with this, it's really cool. You can like check to see what it sounds like in a car, an SUV, fucking club, cell phone, AirPods. So I can kind of go through and check different things. I usually have it on bypass, but I can go check different things to see how it sounds in different areas. I can go check the phone thing to be like, okay, if most people are going to be listening off their phone, does it sound like complete shit? But VSX is really cool. It really helped my mixing process, and it helps me keep things in check a bit more. Pretty expensive though. I think with the plugin and the headphones, it's like $400. There's like they do like Black Friday sales and stuff. I think I picked it up for $200 on a sale. But worth it if you're looking into mixing stuff. And then of course Shrek. But that's basically the master bus and then the band bus together. A lot of compression, saturation. I guess saturation being the biggest thing across both. A lot of fucking saturation. And compression and stuff.
Did have a few
Anybody have
questions in the chat.
Yeah, what we got?
Russ was asking, do you specifically look for it to be more on the optimizing side for speakers or for earbuds?
That's a good question.
Which one means the most to you?
Probably speakers. How I do my like referencing, like what I did on this track, is I have my headphones, and then when I have a bounce, I'll bounce it. Well, that's like the end of the day. It's like 2 a.m, right? And I'm like watching Netflix. I'm like leaning back in my chair, and then I can go and put my computer speakers on. I have like really shitty, like just computer speakers, and then I'll play it through I'll play the bounce through the speakers and see how it sounds versus other tracks to kind of tell where I'm at. Like if the kick is too loud, or if the guitars are too loud, or weirdly like sitting weird, or the vocals too loud, blah 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 blah. And then I do the same thing in my car. I'll listen to like the majority of our tracks that we have, like the work in progress tracks. We have like 30. I'll usually run through most of them, or like the ones that we're actively working on, multiple times on the way to work and on the way home from work, and then I'll reference the current bounce to other like Spotify bounces too to see how it sounds in my car, and then bass EQ and mix changes off of that. So I'm not really like optimizing for one or the other, but I guess if I had to choose, it'd be speakers, since I'm using like my car and then my computer speakers a lot of the time to reference stuff. I'll use my phone too. I'll like play it on my phone. But there's a lot of things that I set in headphones that you can't really tell is happening on speakers. And that's something that I'm trying to get better at. There's a lot of stuff in like, even in that like trappy R&B part, whatever you want to call it. There's like a lot of shit going on. You can't really tell. Like there's a lot of these like clanky things. Like I don't even know if you can hear that.
Yep.
I got this chime going. Got the snares, claps, bunch of kicks and stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that's throughout that I feel like could be better. All the like tambourines and the shakers throughout like basically the whole fucking song has shakers and tambourines. It's like basically the whole track. But they're sitting in a place where if you really listen for them, you could probably hear them. Like I could hear them if I'm like looking for it. But the point of shakers aren't really to be like in your face. They're supposed to just kind of drive the rhythm, which makes sense.
Right.
But there's a lot of that stuff that I wish I could be better at. Probably just automation, really. Just being better at automation. Automation's a fickle princess.
There's been a lot of conversation about and asking about the writing process of how the songs are constructed. And everyone's the other members of the band have kind of answered their versions of the process. Would you mind walking us through like how it eventually reaches your hands to even go through this part?
For this specifically, we kind of touched base earlier about like the writing process for us. So like Cam writes some sort of idea and then we build off of that. Where we come in, the whole band's based around a concept or on a story. We haven't done much with the story publicly. We have plans to do more stuff with that, but everything is decided on what we're trying to write the song for, basically. Like if Cam has an idea and this is the kind of vibe that we're going for, we're like, cool, it could go in this part of the story. And then so we focus the track to be more tuned in to that part, lyrically, sonically, how the vibe is, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Did you hit me with a question again? I completely forgot what I was answering.
More or less just kind of the overall process, because they were asking about how lyrics play a factor into it. You know, it's kind of like more or less, you know, it's been answered in the chat, but we haven't really talked about it. So a little bit of what I think has like been kind of passed along was, you know, that Cam comes up with the concept and Rena kind of picks out her favorites type thing, or whatever she finds the most inspirational, and maybe like starts working on lyrical and melodies kind of thing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, like we all kind of, Cam just writes stuff and then throws it in a bucket. Favorites. We're like, this has potential, that has potential. Rena will work on like random vocal ideas over stuff that she thinks is cool, and then we usually someone comes together and they're like, all right, this track is sick, we're going to put more effort into this, and then we'll put more effort into that track versus some of the other ones. Lyrically, usually lyrics are one of the last things that happen on a lot of the times. The EP is a little bit different. They've come a little bit earlier, but most of the time it's melody and rhythm first, and then we find lyrics and then alter melody and rhythm to fit the lyrics after we find it. So a lot of like la la la's or doo doo doos and stuff, or like a piano that's just like going through a melody. But it depends. Each song's a little bit different. But that's basically how it's been. Like sometimes we'll have like cool one-liners or cool like things that we were specifically writing for, like before a breakdown, or like if Rena comes up with something cool in a demo that we really want to keep. But it depends on the end goal for the song. So we like knew earlier on what this song was going to be on the story timeline and where the characters were and like what the emotion was supposed to be and how we wanted it to end. So we like wrote towards that after we like decided that this was going to be where that was. Or what the question was. So we went over the Master Bus and then Shrek.
Yeah, they were asking about Shrek. What the deal with Shrek was? Does Shrek make a noise? Is it just your own?
No.
Did you pick Shrek, or like what the deal with Shrek was?
This is a Max for Live device that allows you to just put an image here. That's all it is. Ableton has this thing called Max for Live where you can create your own plugins within Ableton that do basically whatever you can like code them to do. And you can use a lot of the Ableton infrastructure and stuff. So people will make like custom compressions or like macro buttons to do a bunch of crazy things. So someone made one that's just it holds a picture. So we put Shrek there for inspiration purposes.
Shrek's there for inspiration. I love that.
Hell yeah. Gives us this is my master bus, you know what I'm saying? This is my swamp. This is my shit fucking billion plug-in master bus. Rena sent me a message. She said that there was a couple people that had questions. Let me see what she said. What is our writing process? We kind of already went through that. It's bottom to top. How do we strike a balance between too many plugins and not enough plugins? Plugins, I mean, everyone always says, like, try to achieve with the minimum amount of plugins. And I feel like this is only true if you have, like, the most pristine, perfect audio that you're working with. Like, if I had the cleanest, most perfect takes of everything in like a super professional studio, there was no room noise, great mic, EQ'd perfectly, all that stuff before you even hit any plugins, then you wouldn't need as much. A lot of it comes down to performance and take, I feel like, with the mixing process. A lot of the bands that I'm mixing currently are younger, and I've been trying to like tell them this. I'm like, I can only fix so much as like an audio engineer, and there's some things like you can't just make a pile of shit into gold, you know?
You have to have something to work with.
Yeah, basically. So it depends on the takes. We're lucky enough that we have decent takes. We have good takes. I'm pretty picky with stuff too. Cam's really picky about his guitar takes, and he edits all his own guitars and stuff, so they're usually good. So it makes it a lot easier. Plugins for me is just about how it sounds, getting the tone. I'll use 50 plugins to get what I want out of something and not think twice about it. Like I don't care. I know I need to get better at not having so much on the master. I need to put more of this onto the individual buses and the individual tracks themselves. And that's one of the things I'm going to be working on going forward. And I need to work on a lot of EQ stuff. But I feel like when people say things like, don't use that many plugins. Like, you're not supposed to use that many plugins. That still stems from like an analog mindset, or a mindset from like years ago when you couldn't have a lot of plugins and then your computer would fucking crash. Now with like, especially with like stock plugins, Ableton has everything you would need almost in like stock plugins that sound good. So it's like, just keep throwing shit on until you get the desired effect, basically. At least if you know what you're going for. Like, don't just keep throwing on compressors because you're like, oh, I heard it needs to be compressed, so you throw in 15 compressors. Like on this master bus, these two aren't hitting too hard. You're hitting at like -3, but they're basically doing the same thing. I just fucked up. So you can kind of count this as being one compressor and then going into a second compressor, which a 2 compressor system is very common. You usually have like 1176 into like a LA2A kind of thing, where one's faster, it hits all the transients, and then the other one hits like the in-betweens, it boosts all the fucking lows up and stuff. So this is pretty common. I just executed this pretty poorly, and then I threw on a fuck ton of saturation. I feel like every time I threw on more saturation, it would help, especially guitars, it would help sit guitars better. And like the transients for drums sounded a bit better. So I did dial back on some stuff, but for me, it's like, I don't care. Ableton has infinite amount of space. It's not like Logic or some of these other DAWs where you have a limited amount of plugin slots. You can only have 10 plugins on any given track. With Ableton, it's fucking infinite. So you can go infinite. You can throw 1,400 compressors on a fucking snare drum just to see what white noise really sounds like. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the tropes in music or in audio engineering are tropes that come from days past, basically. Like, if you watch other mixers or any of the mix things, like Nail the Mix or Mix with the Masters or any of that kind of shit, every time someone's on there, they have like a different philosophy. And it's like who they learned from, or what they taught, or things they picked up that worked best for them in those situations that they were in. There's so many if, ands, and about mixing that it's a hard thing to learn because there's so many fucking avenues to get to the end. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's also very difficult.
What was your journey to find the way that you do your process?
I still have no fucking idea. I'm still winging it, dude. This is the 4th song I've ever mixed. Yeah.
What made you get into this? What made you get into being the one to mix?
Money. Most likely. Not so I get money, so we save money. If I learn how to do this, then we don't gotta pay some other fuck to do it. That's basically what it boiled down to. We could spend that money on cool shit like merch and live gear and artists and stuff and authors and shit, instead of spending $1,000 a track to go to a studio.
How long have you been working on stuff like this?
Like a year, not even.
So you've learned all of this and all of this language in just 1 year.
Basically. I mean, I've been around it. I've been playing music since I was 10. So I've been around a lot of the terminology, but yeah, as far as like audio engineering lingo and stuff, about a year, yeah.
And now you're using 200 plugins.
Yeah, I'm using a fucking master book with Shrek on it. This is the key right here, boys. How important is it to network with other rising bands? Networking in general is just the most important thing. To be honest with you. Elven Labs. I haven't fucked around with Elven Labs. I'll have to look it up. Okay, so that's basically the routing. Everything but drums and vocals go to this band bus, which is compression, saturation, and sidechaining. All the main sidechaining stuff. And then that goes into the master. Because we kind of just go down the buses real quick. Which of the five from Transient in your band? Johnny hit their track, Phantoms. The 5 June live stream. Oh, the drummer from them. He's my buddy. He's my buddy. Okay, so drums. I use kind of a mishmash of libraries for drums. So I used P5, Matt, P4, Matt Halbert, RS drums for a stack, just a stack, and then Luke Holland drums for a stack and a splash. So the toms are coming from P5. I have a snare from P4, a snare from P5, and the cymbals are from P5. I have a splash. So they're kind of a Frankenstein kit. All of this is routed out into the individual channels, and then I process each one individually from there. Drum bus, I have compression. What music do you listen to? Did Cam come back? That's all for the band members. That's for all the band members. I think you don't want to get in that conversation. My fucking my goddamn. I'll fucking show you. Actually,
what's your favorite band that you've discovered recently? Like your newest band that you discovered recently.
Discovered probably. I have no idea. My discovery process is dumb. The latest artist I'm into is Iniko, probably. She slams. She's so good.
What kind of music?
It's I wonder if I play this, will you hear it?
Probably. Maybe.
Can you hear that?
I can.
Gotcha. It's so fucking good. My like songs are real rough. So how I listen to music is I hear a song, I put it in my like songs, and then I just hit shuffle. So I got some fucking Token Grass. I got Iniko. We got this dude Sick, Endo San, Novelist, La Dispute, Sleep Token, The Paradox, Face Yourself, As Day Breaks. We got some fucking Marcus King. We got Dr. Manhattan. Big Dr. Manhattan fan. Polyphia, Panic at the Disco, Pliny, Spirit Box, Hungover, some K-pop, Unprocessed, Mayday Parade, Scarecrow, The Browning, Random Shit XG, All Time Low, Sarah Laundry. I fucking love Sarah Laundry. God damn, I love Sarah Laundry. Thornhill. It's everything. It's absolutely everything. Bill Murray. I have fucking K-pop on here. Cartel. I'm a big Cartel fan.
They're doing that
Static Dress
20-year anniversary tour or something, right?
Yeah, I went to go see him, but then I got food poisoning right before I went. Day before, I was so pissed. Got some fucking Eye to Eye, dude. Magnolia Park. Make Him Suffer. I have like doo-wop on here. I have K-pop. I have a bunch of fucking classical. I have it's literally everything. Stuff that isn't even close to being in English. Drum and bass. Fucking Disturb. A lot of EDM. Some rap. Got Bro Job. I got the Wiggles. I fucking love the Wiggles. Unironically. Mick Gordon. I've like literally everything. It's just everything. I put the fucking cam. I put the shirt on because I thought I was going to be on camera. So I put the Hecate's Torch shirt on, but then the cam didn't work. So I'm naked again. So
yeah, Rena says that you should give the viewers a sneak peek of an upcoming song at the end of the stream.
Yeah, I can do that. Easy peasy.
I don't know if Rena has a specific song in mind, but she might.
Yeah. Let me know which one you want to show.
All I know, I'm gonna say it once so that way she hears me. So I'm like, he showed me the forgotten little like ending of I think it was called Depression or something.
Oh, I showed him the original, the back and forth earlier.
Throw that in somewhere. You know what I mean?
House music? I fucking love house music. Okay. Drum bus. Kind of typical. Compression. We got some clipping. Saturn. Saturation. A little bit of EQ here. I got 1 dB at, what is that, 16K, 4 dB at 10. This is 3K, dB and a half, 2 dB at 500. These are kind of high Q, so they're really pokey, really small. A little bit of a low shelf. Not the back and forth, bro. We're putting it in somewhere, dude. It's too good. Little EQ here. The upper mid range, more of that 16K, 10K. I really like 16K. I really like 10K on drums. I don't know what the fuck it is. 8K is nice on snare too, but 10K overall on drums, so fucking nice. I don't know why I did this 3K bump, but let me find a part. I did. More cymbal presence, more snare presence. Arguably, it sounds better without, to be honest with you. But we're also in solo, so. Saturation, virtual tape machine. Pretty standard drum bus. The kick, if we turn it all off, this is what the kick sounds like, raw. This is with the samples. So I have 30% mixed in samples. I have a P kick. I think this is Buster's kick, pretty sure. Danny B kick. And then the click from one of his packs. That's mixed in. Fucking shit ton compression. Oh yeah. A little bit EQ. Bumped up that lows. Took out the 900 range, 1000 range. I like the 3K, 3.5 on kicks, real nice.
Got another question from the chat. How do you push out wide or bring stems to the center?
How do you push out wide or bring stems to the center? Plugins, basically. Let's see. I have an example, probably in vocals somewhere. Let me find one. I think I did on this. So on, unfreeze this. This is that part. So I have like a Chino style of vocal going behind. And then you can achieve width with microshift. So if we were to turn this off, it's in the center. Turn it on, it goes more towards the sides. It all kind of depends. There's a bunch of plugins out there like Widener. I think Widener's free too. That will I think I have it actually. Plugins, Widener, yeah. You can put this on stuff. This will spread out stereo signal. It's like in your ears. Bring it back in. There's a lot of plugins out there that do like very subtle things, but if done correctly, is very powerful. That's like another reason why I don't care about how many plugins I put on something, especially when I'm sound designing. But I do need to get better at that overall, because there's a lot of things that I could probably do better. Like I do this all the time, where I'll EQ something and then I'll put another EQ after it to make more changes, but then I'll just reverse what I did in the EQ before it. So there's a lot of shit like that I need to get better at. Let's see. We're on kick. And then parallel process 2. This is like an EQ parallel. I think it does a little bit of compression, but it's brings in an EQ curve mostly. Parallel process 2 is on the higher end. So if we were to show you all the way up, brings like all the high end stuff out. So I'll mix it in just a little bit. Snare bus only has the MP parallel process 1, which is the low end. Brings up the low end. There must be a way to layer the EQ. Yeah, you just add more EQs on, basically, or make you make better EQ moves. What it really boils down to. So I have 3 snares. All sound a little different. Snare 1, snare 2, snare 3. You mix them together. Then I have a snare bomb, which is at the end. It's like a snare bomb. A lot of reverb. I won't go through each of these snares because they're basically the same, a little different, but basically the same idea. Let me loop this part. Snare. So without anything on it, this is what the raw snare sounds like. We had some triggers. 50%. So I got the snare from a painting, one of our other tracks. I took that, and I'm using that as a sample. And then GGD samples. And then Paul Miamorii from that sound sample. It's like kind of like a gunshot way in the back. From there, we do compression, a little bit of transient, up the transients a bit. Didn't really touch the sustain at all. Capitator. Everybody fucking loves decap. A little bit of EQ. And then more parallel processing from Make Believe Studios. And then I did that a couple times just to blend in the snare sound that I wanted. That's basically that. Tom's kind of the same thing. Tom bus. This is super cool. The parallel particles. You can change how it sounds. It also does some compression. Find a tom part. I think the toms were too loud in the final mix. I should have brought them down. Little DF Excite. Exciter. Some EQ. To shape. Compression. To compress. And then I sidechain the toms to my kick. So when the kick's going, it punches through all the low end, because that low end floor tom is fucking subby. More toms. Less toms. Less toms. But I have those are the raw sounds, and then I have the samples on top. You mix them together. That's how I got that. Samples I chose. These are Buster's samples. And that's muted. That's not even doing anything. Yeah, so they're just Buster samples. A little bit of EQ to curve the sound. Multi-band. to get the bottom end to just leave quicker, so it doesn't stay around. I just copied and pasted it because it was still staying around a lot. Another instance of me just being like, I don't fucking know, just do it again, bud. And it worked out. The rest of the drum bus, pretty standard stuff. EQ on overheads, little boost. Got some compression. I took all the low end out, so I started a Q at 350, or a my mind's blank. One of these. A little bit of soothe. Helps with the cymbals. I think this is a Nolly preset. And then tape saturation. I can do it on and off. So that's what they sound like without anything. And this is all the stuff on. This is close rooms. So I did the opposite what I did of the overheads. So I did a low pass instead of a high pass. Oh, that's what I did. High pass on the other one. This is a low pass. A little bit of radiator. Get that crunchy going. Radiator's sick for a preamp. Compression. Transient designer with the sustain all the way up. This is where I'm getting a lot of that like snare room sound is from the transient designer. Some more compression. Smash and Grab's goated plugin. Far rooms. It's another low pass, just more not as extreme. You hear a lot of the snare in this one, more snare focused. Compression, radiator. Some of this other stuff, kind of simple things. Just Pro Q2 or Pro Q3, 4 Jesus Christ numbers. The mono mic. This is just dirt mic. Little double lock. Gives a little bit of texture. Didn't really do much on the spot mics. A little bit of a curve on some of the splashes. That's basically drums, just quickly, at least. Oh, I do parallel processes, so I do 2 parallel buses as sends, or returns, or whatever you want to call them. So I can show you, a lot of the kick tone is coming from the parallel processes. So if I were to turn off the parallel, this is what the kick sounds like. If I turn on the parallel, gives it all the fucking punch and stuff. With a couple of phasing issues in the high end, because Lamau, I'm bad. So for this parallel, we used Virtual Virtual Mix Rack, and then we clipped it, -6. I don't think it got anywhere close to -6. So this is actually useless. A little bit of trimmer, compression, and then virtual channel. Fatten it up. For the kick, if we were to boost this, it's like all the boom. And then for the other one, it's just more clicky. Fuck am I? There we go. So that's where a lot of that kick sound's coming from, is the parallel. At least how it like stays on top of the mix. That and the sidechain. Basically drums. Any questions on drums? Any comments on drums?
I don't think I got too many questions about the drums or anything. The one thing I was thinking though was, do you have like a reference track or anything like that you could kind of maybe show us to show like this is kind of what like the demo sounded like before you ever started playing with like really mastering it? Do you have anything like that maybe you could share with us today?
For this track, no. Cam's bounce, he uses different drums, so it'd be like completely different. The only other thing, let me think. Now there'd be no real way. I could. Oh, maybe I'll do this. Actually, maybe
Cam says that he put the demo in that the demo is in the folder.
The demo's in the folder. The demo's in the folder. Let me see. The demo's in the folder.
Ethereal, maybe.
Oh. In sampling, in your sampling, in my folder. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can bring it up. Okay, so this is what the baseline track sounded like when we got it from Cam. It's playing, I promise. I don't have any of just drums. I could show you. There's no easy way to turn everything off, turn everything back on again. That's what we got from him. The only thing I could really do would be to external out this, and then I wonder if it would play. No, it's not going to. What could I do? I could probably duplicate this track, actually. Let me duplicate. And then I'll external out this. And then can we default this? How the fuck? Delete output section preset. Which is factory. Can I hear it now? Only the snare still. What the fuck? I didn't think about that before. I guess I would have to go in and like default fucking everything. It would take so long. There's the stems and stuff that I put in. You could go in and A/B them if you'd like, because there's the multitracks that are just raw. So it'll be all of these tracks without any plugins on them, and then you could A/B that to the stems of the drum bus that I sent in there too, if you want to see like an A/B. The way I have this routed is kind of dumb. To be able to do that quickly. Next thing, E-drums. This is only for that like rappy, R&B, trappy, whatever section. We got hats, some perks. This is the what is this? I just do. I also have the project file in there too. So if you wanted to open it up, if you have Ableton. This is, what the fuck is this called? UJam. UJam Glory. A lot of the stuff. A little bit of Saturn. For most of the main Perkin stuff. This is Snap. This is a Snap from God knows where. One shot somewhere. Probably Ableton. A little bit of Saturn again. We got a kick. This is from probably Ableton. Somewhere in fucking Ableton. One of the stock things. Claps. Claps come from Glory. The verb snare. This comes from Cozy. Micro Refiner. This is a lot of the verb. I was kind of trying this out. It was okay. Transit Designer. A little bit of Pro Q on the top. That's for the verb snare, this one. God. And then this random shit is from Random, actually. Believe it or not. So this is a plugin that has a bunch of different sounds. I think they're randomly generated. I'm pretty sure. And then you can like program. There's so many fucking things in this plugin to go through, but it's basically playing the MIDI from the claps and stuff from earlier. And I ran it through that, and I ran it through Freezer. So what Freezer does, I can turn all this off real quick. So this is what it sounds like without anything. Very random. But then you run it through Freezer, and this will left and right freeze and like repeat different things. So I set it up in a way where it would start doing rhythmically left and right different things. From there, a little bit of EQ. So it's just the high end. Saturation. Cluster delay. This is pretty cool. You can do like very custom ping pong delay stuff on here. And then Valhalla. Vintage verb. That shit just goes to space. So now you got little random things in the background. This one's more of the same kind of shit. I used Random Metal. Same kind of program. Just as more metally sounds. Ran it through Freezer. Ran it through Cluster Delay. Valhalla. Saturated it. So now we have like someone going through a kitchen drawer at 3 a.m. basically. And then Upchime. This is I bounced one of the audio parts down and then repeated it because I thought it sounded cool rhythmically in this part. Might have to back up and so it unfroze everything. Keep it going, keep it going. There we go. That little like high pitched thing right here. I was like, oh, that's sick. So I captured that and I just copied and pasted it. So it happens over and over again. That's basically all the drum part for that, except for the synth. So this is a printed synth part that Cam made. Ran it through compression, bass XXL, which is a saturator, harmonic saturator. So it takes that root note and then it plays the harmonics of it all the way up the scale, so you can kind of hear it on smaller speakers. Let's see, bass shaper, more of that, just shaping. Golfos to make sure that kind of stays in check, a little bit of clarity. Cobra fuzz gives it that fuzziness. That's what it sounds like without. And then you add the fuzz on. Gives it all that texture. And then sub clarity. This is more odds or evens harmonics, I believe. Yeah. Odds or even harmonics for tone. This is a pretty cool plugin. Kind of like XXL. A lot of harmonic-y stuff. But if I were to turn all this off, this is what it sounds like with nothing on it. We got compression, bass XSL, the shaper, Golfos, Cobra. That's where all that texture comes in from fucking Cobra, dude. More bass focus, Sooth. This is a sidechain for the EDM kick from earlier. And that's where that synth bass tone comes from. This is just piano from Pigments. I think this is like a default. I can actually just look. I don't know why I'm not looking at these things. Beyond Helios. Just a random preset patch that I thought sounded cool. You can't really hear it too much in the mix. I think it's playing the same thing as the piano for most parts. Except for, of course, that part. You can't really hear this too much. You can hear it in the ears a little bit, like the higher ends. If you listen for it. But it fills out pretty nicely. If you didn't have it, you can like immediately notice it's not there. Even though it's not too apparent. These synth stacks while we're on this part, I guess. I don't remember. Oh, this is another Pigment stuff. I think these were more edited, though. Probably some random preset that I fucked around with a little bit and then printed it. That's E-drums and some of the synth stuff. Bass. I have double tap. Double tap is dope. Dynamics processor, compressor. We have 3 basses here. This is the main tone. Let me unfreeze all these. So this is Eurobass 3. For some reason, Eurobass 3 likes a lot of the stuff that we do. Parallax. Mic'd up setting, just tweaked a bit. Little Q4. All the subs are out of here, or most of them. And then I got a big dip at 1800. less clank. We have a distortion one, so this is all the distortion tone. I don't know why this dark glass is there. It's probably a Eurobase 3. Yep, Eurobase 3. Dark glass this time, though. This has a nice drive to it. Random Forrester Savell scooped, and then probably tweaked a bit. And then this is even more of a high pass. So if you add those two together, that's basically the bass guitar sound. And then we have subs. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but these are in the ears. It's a operator is a Ableton synth, which is a sine wave, and then it's just for the low end. And then I spread it. I think this is a Buster thing. I spread it so there's no direct signal in the middle. We take that out, so it's just in the ears. It gives more girth to them ears. And then saturated, and then limited. So it's pinned. It's not going anywhere. Staying at that same fucking length. But you can tell when it's not there, though. Really rounds that all out. Rounds it all out. Love the electronic bass sound. It's sick. You can't really, like, tell, but you can definitely fucking feel it. That's basically bass. Pretty straightforward. Oh, the fucking hell yeah! I threw in so many bass slides. I think that was the last thing I did on the song. I told Cam. He sent me a frowny face emote, but then he sent me a smiley face emote when he heard it. Goddamn guitars. So there's a lot of guitar stuff happening. All of this shit's guitars. We got the main left and right. And then we have the second main left and right, which is usually all the higher endy. I split those up because I go through a compressor, Lindo compressor, and this, the way it works is like the first hit of anything gives it a bunch of slap, and it only works if it's separated. So I had to separate some of these parts out so it slaps when it comes back in. You can kind of tell, like someone just slaps you across the face when it just first comes in. A lot of standard processing on this. Low end, chugs. This dips out the 200-ish area when it gets too much. Captator. Phantom Center. Phantom Center is super sick. It's a free plugin. This takes all the center information and then injects it into the sides, so it leaves more room for your drums. This would take 13 million years to kind of go through each one of the things. So I'll just do kind of the main tone, and I'll show you the other ones. So we used Gojira. Very standard for a metal band, Gojira. Went and did some Axe effects, Renaissance Axe. A little bit of compression. Pro MB for more of those chugs. And then there was a whistle. That damn fucking whistle. We got rid of that. It's hard to A/B this because it's just a tone. If you were to take this off, it would just be a DI guitar track. That's what a guitar sounds like. See. Everything's the same on these. The Pro Q3 is a little bit. I have an extra Pro Q4, sorry, just to bring out the higher end a bit. Bends, these are guitar sounds. I love making stuff that doesn't make sense and then stacking them on top of each other to make something else. That's that guitar part in that break. This is Corey Wong. I think it's all Corey Wong, most of it, yeah. This is Lifeline for that. Lifeline's like has a bunch of little consoles. You can do a bunch of stuff. You do like lo-fi stuff with it, basically. This shit's nuts. Fucking dumpster fire, freak show. You haven't fucked around with this? You should. To our extras. So I have one called Cursed. I don't know if you can really hear that. It's just a very weird sounding, very low guitar. I basically took the regular guitar and then I threw a dumpster fire on it at the end. And then a bite harder. This is Bit Crush, but you can like tell it where to Bit Crush. So I told the Bit Crush at the top. Mishibi. This is another Freak Show Industries thing.
Russ is asking if the dumpster fire plugin gives you random patterns.
Dumpster fire. I don't think it does. This is more of like a pitch shift. Yeah, it's more of like a pitch shifty thing. Than a random pattern thing. There is one that gives you random patterns though from Freak Show. I don't remember which one it was. But I have that Curse guitar tone underneath. It gives a little bit more girth, a little bit of oomph. Yep, you can drag it around. You can fuck around with it. I have octave guitars as well. Probably you might not hear a lot of that. This is basically the regular guitar. I put let's unfreeze it. I used Toneforge DI match. So there's a bunch of DIs you can pick from. And it basically changes the frequency spectrum to match whatever like DI that you put in for that. I did that so it was different from the original takes, because if you use the same take and you edit it, you're gonna have phasing issues. It's gonna sound fucking weird. So if you change the DI, sometimes that helps. And then ran the octave guitar through the Fortin suite, and then did the Buster thing where you let me unfreeze here, where you bring it into Gojira, and then you use the foot stomp thing to lower the octave. I'm also transposing 2 by 12. So this is down 2 octaves, actually. I didn't realize I did that. So this is the regular guitar, but just down 2 octaves. So it's like triple drop D or some shit, or whatever the fuck this is in, F. That's not through, that's just at the end, and then some at the beginning. I have the octave guitar going. Some of that girth. Harmonies. The only harmonies in the whole fucking song, right there. We have strum guitar harmonies. Those sound real bad, but with the other ones, they sound better. Helps peek through. And then the world-ending guitar. Which is... that's what it sounds like normally. Just Gojira with probably... oh, there's no reverb on here. Oh, I sent it. I sent it to Ascend for reverb. And this is compression, EQ, hyper tune. This is really sick for pitch stuff. More Cobra Fuzz. Cobra Fuzz goaded. And microshift. And now you have a fucking siren. Basically, the guitar's TLDR. The lead in the chorus is lo-fi. It's just another lead. Pretty standard stuff. Nothing crazy going on there. This is the main sound of the track, I guess you could say. This is just Gojira, again, on default. Overdrive on. All the bottoms taken out from the EQ. It was edited like this, so this is how it came from Cam. Cam did this on his own, the editing. If you take the amp away, that's what it sounds like. Whatever this lead is. That's the transition lead. That is printed, so I have no idea what the fuck I did for that. I probably did the Freak Show stuff. I just automated some of the Freak Show stuff and then printed it down for that. Prog guitar, real simple. We won't spend too much time on this. These are just all pads. We got super plate. Church of Bob. You take the super plate off. It's just Cam fucking plucking away, dude. Throw that bitch on. It's a pad now. We're pad boys. A couple of those. We got some reverses over here, I think. Yep, which is just one of the guitar parts reversed, thrown in for a riser. A lot of this stuff doesn't have too much production stuff on it. Like, that's the sound. I got that sound. It's done. There's no extra stuff on it. That's kind of it. I mix it in volume-wise, and I leave it. Clean guitar tone. We have right. We have left. I believe they're both the same thing. Yep. This is, if it'll open, Corey Wong. This looks like just the default. Just fucked with stuff. The 4th position compressor's on. Volume's up, bass down, treble up. Well, this is probably default. I hate fucking with speaker stuff, so I probably never fucked any of that. A little bit of EQ curve. We got the delay on. The wash is on. The reverse. I have no idea what the fuck this is, actually. What part of the song is this? Oh, it's to help bring in the cleans a bit. Which I don't think it's doing that at all. It should probably be further back, to be honest. But sure, we'll leave it in. Too late to take it out now. Piano, I think, is just Noir. Unfreeze. Yep. Noir felt real? Interesting. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. It might have been a mistake. But, too late. I do have some automation going. Oops. Most of this automation is just volume automation, so like it gets quieter, gets louder, cuts off after this abruptly. To make room for that transition. Piano part's pretty cool. Probably being sent to, yeah, I got it sending to a lot of different sends here. The parallel, we got some of the reverbs, long reverb, Valhalla room, in reverb, which is just a clipped reverb, more Valhalla, with a wide bus. I can go over returns in a bit. That's piano, basically nothing special on that. No other processing, it's just straight through the contact instrument, probably edited in the contact instrument for a bit. All the strings and stuff is next. You can kind of hear it cutting out. That's the side chain for the snare. So if we were to turn the side chain off, it'll be smooth. That's it ducking out the way. So these are all BBC Symphony Orchestra Core violins. Most of them were going to be legato. I have automated all of the expressions, and the dynamics are all hand automated to be different from each other. So each one of these things are going to be different to make it sound more realistic. For processing, we just got a little bit of tape saturation, compressor, and then more saturation, black box saturation. I can do an A-B for that real quick. On. Off. On. Basically just makes it louder, a little bit more saturated. We got a violin, viola. Nope, that's violin 2. We got a cello. This is a viola. And then we got a flute. For that airy high end. These two are violins, violas, but they're staccato. This matches the guitar lead. What the fuck am I doing? There we go. basically all of the strings. Choir. So this is all opus, which is east-west. So this is really cool. You can tell it what to say. You have to spell it weird. So this first part, they say divinity, but you have to do divinity to make it work. And then you can tell them when to switch over to the notes, like the different phonic stuff. It's pretty sick. East-West, really cool. East-West Choir. Hollywood Choir. I don't think there's any real processing on these at all. These are just straight out the box. Choir, pretty straightforward. I don't think we have a lot of synthy stuff, just that one area. This is the same one from before. Same thing. We already went over that. Synth stack, we already went over that. Same stuff. Serum 2, no idea what this is. I don't even remember doing this, actually. Huh. Well, that's cool, I guess. That's in there. Production. We got subdrops. Risers. Have all your standard stuff. Nothing too crazy. Jumps. Those were super sick. Probably some of my favorite shit. Those jump things. Tambourines and shakers. Everyone loves them. These are all probably samples from Splice, to be honest with you. No real processing on them. A little bit of compression just to get them louder. That's about it. They're pans left and right. For samples, we have some choir samples. I think this is stock Studio One choir from Cam. And then more of that. We got the what the fuck Cam part. I have no idea what the fuck this is. I don't know if it's a person or a guitar. This is how it came. This is how it came from Cam. I guess it's a guitar because it says ambience effects guitar. And then claps. Which this probably could be louder. That's a fuck up on my part. Can't even really hear it. Mega Punch. God damn, I feel Mega Punched. Some more impacts. Got some glass breaking around here somewhere. All the samples. Bless. This is the distorted drum part. This came from Cam. It's probably just like a GGD kit or something that he just compressed the fuck out of, put double lock on. And that's basically everything except for vocals. We haven't gotten to vocals yet, but questions, comments, concerns, anything so far? I know we ran through a lot.
Yeah, I think it just shows how much time and effort goes into like the overall like process. To be honest, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just simple as putting an idea together. There's a lot more to it than that.
It's fucking time consuming, man. That's basically what it comes down to. Like getting an idea down is cool, but then could it be cooler if you fucked around with it? Probably. And that's that's what I do.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's really what it is, right? Because it's like it takes the more time and effort you put into anything, I think it's always going to come out, right? You know, so if you took even half the time that you put into like mixing this, it wouldn't be the same, you know?
Yeah, it'd be probably completely different. I think that's the benefit of doing singles too, instead of traditionally just putting out EPs or putting out albums, is that you're able to put a lot more effort into each track. How much is too much and how much is not enough? It all depends on just the sound. Like, you can go as hard as you want if you're searching for like a specific sound or vibe or feel or whatever. Like, all of these, if I were to do this all again, like all this stuff would probably be sitting different or sounding different. It's kind of depending on like when I'm fucking with it, when I'm noodling with it at the time. It depends on how it comes out, like what plugins I use or what random things I try out to get cool sounds. Sometimes I'll just go through go through the plugin list, and you're like, all right, what can I fuck around with? What is this? I have no idea. Reamp? All right, fuck, let's throw it in, see what it does. See if we can make it sound cool, type of thing. Like when I'm hitting a brick wall, or if I'm hitting like this has potential, but it needs to be different somehow. Kind of just fuck around with stuff. Tweak things with a lot of buttons, a lot of knobs. You start spinning shit until you get a cool sound out of it. Vocals. This won't take too long.
And I can't seem to find what should be right in front of me.
I guess we can do sends real quick so you guys have an idea. So I have a long verb. I have a Valhalla room. This is mostly for drums, but there's some on the vocals. Inverb, which is just a clipped. It comes into a clipper first, and then it goes into a reverb that is ducking around the 200 hertz. So you get a lot of that higher end stuff. That's mostly for snare, but sometimes it's on other things. It's on a little bit here on the leads. Vintage verb, more verb. We got wide, which is a micro shift into a decapitator with EQ curve and a de-esser, and then a glue compressor on the end. I can show you what that sounds like. So if we were to turn up, which one is wide? Wide is G. So if we turn that down here, solo this.
And all that's mine to find, hidden out of spite. And I can't seem to find what should be right in front of me.
Basically just injects it into the ears. Gives you that wider sound. Hence the name. Reset this. I forgot where it was at. We got smear, which is a short delay.
And I can't seem to.
We have a echo at half note, and then we have an echo or a delay at quarter note. We have CLA effects, gives that Chino vibe. I don't know if it's on. It's on something. One of these has it. It's a K. This one has it. Where are you at? Work. Right here. That's what it's doing. Kind of like a telephone slap. And then we have this last verb. This is the crazy shit. This is a sidechain compressor. So this will compress the vocal coming in. back here.
And all that's mine to find.
So it compresses coming in, and then it releases when the signal stops, and it gets louder. So this basically is an auto-ducking verb delay thing. We got a de-esser, got an echo boy for delay, double lock for some of that crunch, more reverb, a lot of sparkle on top, and then a Valhalla room for even more verb. So if we were to just listen to just the verb here, a lot going on there. But that's all of the sends that I have for this track. The buses, there's not a lot on the buses. Overall, there's a fresh air, which is just saturation, just a little bit. If we were to turn everything off, turn everything back on again for the leads.
Mine to find, hidden out of spite. And I can't seem to find what should
It's raw vocals.
right in front of me.
Turn everything on.
And all of the divine thrown out of line.
Very a lot in your face. We have Pre-Fire, which is a newer plugin from Submission. This is a pre, hence the name Pre-Fire, that has a bunch of different simulations. Not going too hard on it. Just a little bit of that crunch. Tube Tech, CL1B, MK2. Rena's vocals really like this. We were using a couple different ones. I tried this out, and it really worked well for her vocals, so I've been using it on all of her cleans, at least since I found this works for her. Same thing with the Pulsar Massive. We have female rock vocals default, but then I edit it a bit. But these are some pretty big EQ changes. Like this is a fucking plus 15 at the high end. But it worked really well with her vocal in general, so we just kind of kept it. De-esser. I need to get different de-essers. This is like a nice sounding de-esser. I just can't get it to work right for me. So this is more de-essing, and then for plosives, when her vocals get too loud in this area, it will duck down.
And all that's mine to find, hidden out of spite. And I can't seem to.
Like when she says the
Nah.
that little it'll duck out that, so it's not as prominent. Same thing as I just opened that up. Bloom, this is a newer thing. This I think I have this in parallel.
And I can't seem to find what should be right in front of me.
It's at 40% mix, so it's in parallel. But this is basically a little bit more compression, but it's peaking at the top and the bottom here. It's scooping the mids.
Find what should be right in.
So it's giving a little bit more presence, top and the bottom, a little warmth, a little sparkle, and then to cap.
And I can't seem to find what
Saturation.
should be right in front of me. And all of the divine.
That's basically her vocal chain. We ended up on this. It'll be something similar to this for a while, I think, give or take a couple of things. But like the Pulsar and the Tube Tech are probably going to be staying on here, probably the Pre-Fire as well. But some of this other stuff might change depending on the song. Let's see. A lot of the same. Got a little thickify on this. Makes it thick. Little Bishu girth. Little girther. More girth. I was trying to really go after that Chino effect. More CLA. Echo Boy, Micro Shift. That with the main vocal, I think sound cool.
I try to fight off the
Get harmonies. These are formant shifted. Same line as before. But then I went into the clip and turned down the formants on it. The main kind of sound of this part is from a demo take. This is a vocal from a demo take that I accidentally hit like play on a couple of times, like one of these situations, like a kind of thing, like a fucking, and it was just at a part of a vocal where it kind of sounded like this. And I was like, oh, that kind of sounded kind of sick. So I try to recreate it. This is a tail end of a demo vocal that I chopped up, added in a auto filter. So it sounds like, whoop. And then I took the tail off, separated it, and then tried to really push the pulsating part. It's freeze, so this is like printed like 4 fucking times. So God knows what the fuck I did on this to make it. Oh, this is cool shit. I'm actually stoked to show you guys this stuff. So I took the main vocal for this. There's automation on this. Auto pan. Mixer. Oh, where's it? Utility. So it goes up and down in different spots based on lyrics. So I did auto pan, which will give it like that house stutter effect. Pressed it. Put some thickify on it. Make it thick. Hell yeah. Thick as fuck. Then we got some Bishu girth. Girthy. Microshift. Send it out to the ears. Little reverb. And then if you listen to just that and the main vocal.
And I tried to fight off the feeling.
Kind of comes in here and there for texture.
Inside.
Very subtle, but very cool.
Lost all the meaning. Better way. You
All the transitional stuff from this part is from the vocal lines here. All of that is from that same vocal. Basically just automating the auto pan here. If you look on the bottom left, it automates the rate down. And then I used gain, make it louder. Some other things change a little bit, like it's girthier. The reverb turns down, but that transitions from just that vocal part. The Nate's background vocals. Hypertune. Hypertune's goated. Forgot about these. This is I think these are the demo takes, actually. Same sort of thing. Go through Autotune, Hypertune at -12 octave. And then I sent it through a guitar pedal with a multi-voicer on it. And then reverb. Damn. That timing's way the fuck off. I should have fixed that. Oops. It's way off. Oh well. But that with the normal vocals sounds really cool. That's basically the vocals. There's a lot of other random stuff. This part. This is a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different effects, basically. Hypertune, this is vocal synth, hypertune, Cobra Fuzz, vocal synth, hypertune. More of the same. In the center, this is Blown Out Wall, which is a guitar pedal, and then Portal. And then Bit Crush, yeah, bit crushing. So you squash all that together, and then you get a goddamn demon voice. All the screams are pretty simple, same type of shit. I actually went through the tube tech for screams on this one too. I usually do gain reduction, or whatever that shit's called. What the fuck is it called? Gain reduction from JST. Really good on screams. But I just did the tube tech again. That's basically it for everything. The whispers here.
Alice, my designer. Alice, my designer. Alice, my designer. Alice, my designer.
Some of them have saturation on it. That one's completely fake.
Alice, my designer.
That's Cam.
Alice, my designer.
He got them luscious lips. You can hear them lips smacking. Listen. God damn. He must have had like a juice box or something before this. He was prepped.
Alice, my designer.
Damn, fucking Cam's in my head. Same sort of stuff all the way through. Same kind of plugins. Send it off to sends for reverbs and stuff. But yeah, that's basically the track in a nutshell. I think I could do better now because we've been working on this one for a while. It's hard like writing and mixing at the same time, so I'm gonna try to like going forward with all the new tracks. I'm probably gonna try to like finish writing first before we start getting into any of the kind of mixed stage stuff, because I'll end up jumping the gun a lot of the time and start printing stuff or start like getting stuff set, and then we change a part or we change something or whatever, and then we kind of have to redo it over and over again. So I think going forward I'm going to try to be a little bit more mindful of that, and then try to streamline some of this stuff a little bit more, get a lot of the stuff off the master as I can, put that more on the buses, probably do more with side chaining. Like I could have side chained like the strings better. I could have side chained some of the guitar stuff better. I think it would have just helped things sit. And EQing. I need to get better EQing. I think I could be... This could sound a lot better if it was like actually EQ'd properly and not just like randomly slammed here or there. But yeah, that's basically the fucking track. Boys, girls, questions, comments? Anything like that? You got any questions or anything, Johnny?
No, I think I'm
Appreciate
good,
you hanging
man.
out.
Yeah, I think I learned so much about this process today. I had a very, very intro level baseline knowledge, but I feel like I learned quite a bit today. I learned quite a bit, like the fact that you walked through each different instrument and kind of how like the again, it made me think about how much time and effort that, you know, the better sounding songs sound. Does that make sense? So it's like, you know, there's all these little extra like fine tuning things that you just did throughout this entire process and throughout the entire song, where it's like, okay, we could have like just done it this way, but let's keep trying things until it sounds the way we want it to sound. You know what I mean? So I feel like, again, you talked about that earlier about how much time and effort, like, just like, you know, the last couple of songs that you guys have worked on, like how much time it's taken just to work on those specifically. So it's like, I think a lot of people think that like it's as simple as like, oh yeah, we could throw this all together today in a couple of days, and it's not as simple as that. You know, if you do throw it together in a couple of days, it'll probably sound like it. You know, so if anything, like I said, I really appreciate you breaking everything down in such like immense detail. You know what I mean? A lot of things went over my head, but at the same time, I feel like I also learned a lot. So I definitely want to appreciate you for explaining it all. You know?
Yeah, dude. This is kind of I like to look back at this too in the future and see like things I've done for different things as well. If I like don't have the project file anymore or whatever else, or see if I progressed any. It's good to have like something like this that's on that's like reachable. It's like on a YouTube video. I can go back and be like, what the fuck did I do here? Or what sends did I use? Or how does it sound versus how does it sound now, kind of thing. So hopefully I can get some feedback and stuff. Everything in this track is in the description in that Google Drive folder. So if you want to go through and listen or fuck with stuff or see if you can mix it yourself or hear all the raw takes and all that stuff, you can do it. They're all supplied in the description. I printed everything. So like if you don't have any of the synth plugins and stuff, I just printed a lot of it so that way you had the same sounds. I did include the drum and bass MIDI in case you had different VSTs you wanted to use for those, but I also printed them as well for people who don't have them. If you wanted to fuck around with it, or if some guru comes around, hopefully, fingers crossed, and takes them and is like, hey, this is what you should have done to make it better. Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I feel like we struggled a bit with sending off tracks because we have so much stuff that we want to sit in a certain way that it's hard just sending off tracks to people to mix, because then we get it back and it has like a completely different vibe or a completely different sound. And it's like we don't want to sound like a band that has demoitis a lot of the time, but like when you spend this much time on some of these effects and things, like we want those kind of the same. Even if you print them and send them out, sometimes they just EQ them to death or just take them out completely. Like some of the stuff in, I don't even know if I have. I don't think I have it. But the like Welcome to My Hell, the trappy part in there. There's so much stuff happening in that part. You just can't tell just because of how it was mixed down to get the loudness that. To get competitive loudness, basically. There's like a clock sample and there's like a bunch of stuff that's happening in there. So there's trade-offs. Like if we're able to do this in-house, we can preserve some of the sound and the textures and stuff that we want, that we craft for the song. But then the trade-off is that quality-wise might not be as good as going to someone that's professional, at least right now. So we'll see. I don't think I'm really missing anything. Oh, there is automation on the master as well. So on the start of the synth part, that part, it starts and it slowly creeps down to -2 dB before it pops right back up when all the whole band comes in, just to hit harder. And the same thing for the breakdown at the end. Once the that part hits, it slowly goes down to hit -2, and then it jumps back in. So it hits harder. Yeah, I think that's basically it. All hail Shrek, dude. Shrek helped us on this one.
Well, I appreciate you for breaking it down, man. I don't know if you still wanted to play a little bit of a snippet of a song, but I think Rena said to play Sleepy. I guess you guys have a track named Sleepy you've been working on.
Sleepy?
Give us a little teaser of that on as a send out, you know?
Let me see. I think I don't think any of this stuff is mixed at all. I think it's all raw.
Oh, okay. Well, she did say
Oops.
to use your best judgment on whatever you thought was most appropriate, but then she used that song as one if it was one. So, but she also first initially said to go ahead and just use your best judgment.
Sleepy be a banger though. I guess also why this is loading. If you guys want to see, like, I'm willing to do this every time we put out a fucking song. It doesn't matter to me. But I also don't want to be that guy. Like, if no one gives a fuck, I can just do this on my own and then send it to people that I want feedback from to get better. I thought we could just kind of do a couple birds, one stone type of situation. So if you guys enjoyed going through the process and asking questions and stuff, then I'll willing to do it again. I can even go back to the original project files for the other songs if you want to at some point, not today obviously, but at some point, and kind of go through the processes and go through all the sounds there too. Let's see. It's so loud. Oh fuck, sorry. Alright, we'll do vote on the EP, boys. That's enough of this shit sounding fucking of this shit sounding demo.
Yes, that's not completed, everybody. We'll say that again.
Hell
That's not
no.
completed. But
It's
it
not
is a
even
little
anywhere
teaser.
near completed, dude. We only got 98 tracks on this bitch. We got 100 more tracks to go before it's done. Oh fuck, that's so good. Yeah, EP's gonna be good. We're aiming for 5 songs right now. 2.5 of them are kind of this vibe, a little bit more chill, and then we got some world-ending shit. So it should be a nice little mix of stuff. We got a bunch of features, 2 to be exact, 2 different people on multiple tracks. So it should be fun. It should be good. Should be good.
Well, awesome, man.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
definitely, again, appreciate you breaking all this down. I'm excited to see what everybody has to say about it. And I appreciate everybody in the chat, definitely, for the questions that we got throughout this. Like I said, I learned a lot through it. So
Appreciate you guys hanging out. Any final anything from anybody?
going once, going twice with the chat. Appreciate everybody for hanging out again today. We'll get this thing posted sooner rather than later. Get cleaned up, get that little mess out the middle. You know what I mean?
True. I think a lot of people probably fell asleep. This shit's boring as hell to a lot of people.
Johnny, not going to be a mixer. Too much work for me, baby. Too much work for me. I'd just like to promote the people that do the good jobs. You know what I'm saying? That's where I belong in this world. No problem at all. No problem at all, Rena. I definitely appreciate you guys for inviting me to help with this. So I've had a good time. So definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's it then. Nothing else really left. We got a bunch of cool shit coming. EP coming, more songs coming before that. We got some merch dropping, 2 different merch things dropping.
Awesome.
We're gonna have some lore stuff actually, so you guys understand what the fuck is happening and not just be like, why so sad, then why so angry? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is that?
I can't wait. I can't wait for the merch drop for sure. I'm definitely looking for that. Definitely looking forward to that.
We're doing 2 different ones, so I think that there might be one in the next 2 weeks. I think there's gonna be one coming, so we'll see.
Cool.
We shall see.
I'm definitely excited for more lore drops too. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
So I could sit here and talk for 10 hours on what we have so far for lore. You don't want that. You do not want that.
Let's set up a different conversation to talk about Miamorii lore.
True. You guys are gonna need like a fucking big box of cereal, a cigar. You're gonna need a lot of shit. Box of condoms probably at the end of that conversation. Merch will be on a different site,
Cool.
a third-party site.
Well, I'm excited about it, man. Yeah, and everybody out there listening, if you're still at this point in the video, for sure, go give more love and support to Covenant. It's out now. You've been broken
Prove,
down.
let's stream that shit.
Send it to your cousin, to your mom and your neighbor. You know what I mean?
This song is sponsored by JBL.
All right.
We had
awesome.
Shrek in the last one. JBL in this one. All right, boys.
All right. Y'all have a good one.